Salve one and all, is Shaughan Parson, and welcome to the reflection of God, gods and goddesses. Okay, we're talking about how we as humans, as creations of a creator, that creator many people around the world call God, how we reflect that thing in itself, God. Okay, so let's get into it. This is a very spiritual meta talk right here, because we're going to be talking about, well, the most spiritual of all spiritual things, gods and spirituality. Okay, so first of all, religions is what exactly? What are religions when it comes down to it? Well, not to get too technical of what the actual definition of a religion is, that's not what we're necessarily asking here. What we're asking is what really comprise and makes up religions. What do all religions more or less share in common? Because if you notice something about religions, they're more or less all the same thing with different coatings of paint. Alright, so just think of it this way: they're all Dodge Vipers, but they're painted different colors. One's blue, one's green, one's yellow, etc., etc. Okay? So, as you can see right here, we have four spiritualities. Okay? Notice I didn't say gods, I just said spiritualities. Spiritual personas, spiritual outlooks. Really essential on outlooks, because when it all comes down to it, that's how people look, from an outside perspective on what they see spirituality or religion or God to truly be. Okay, so we have Buddha, alright? And then we have Christ. And then we just have spiritual. These are people who are just spiritual but do not hold religion. Okay, then we have Allah. Of course, there's hundreds, thousands more of religion, outlooks and gods and personifications. But just to keep it simple, of course, we just got four good examples, because all of them have their positives, okay? And all of them have their limitations. I'm not going to call it bads. I'm just going to call it limitations, okay? So first of all, religion is faith. Okay, all religions have faith. No matter what religion you're in, you wouldn't be in that religion if you didn't have faith it was real. You didn't have faith that your God was going to work in whatever way you see fit. Okay, faith is essential for religion. Without faith, there could be no religion and no religious followers of that particular religion. Okay, so the Buddhists, they have faith. The Muslims, they have faith. The Christians, they have faith. And even the spiritual people who do not hold a face, as we would like to call it, on how their God appears, have faith. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't even be spiritual, because there would be no point if they didn't even have faith in it. Okay, so religion is also law. Every religion has its commandments, its rules, its regulations, its certain traditions that you have to follow, and so that becomes law. Okay? Now, if someone is in a religion, their religion is the first law, and if they follow the laws of the people, the governments, if you will, then that will be their second set of laws. But their religion is always the first law for them. Even the spiritual people have their own morals. Okay, that's another way to see their laws. Okay, things that they wouldn't do, things that they don't agree with, that they wouldn't partake in, because, like I said, it's their law, and they're not going to break their own law. I'm a perfect example of this. I'm not part of any of these religions. I'm in the group of spiritual, and I have my own commandments that I made myself, and my laws. Okay, that I wouldn't, go against, because that's truly how I act, naturally anyway. Now, I made a video on that if you want to see it. I can't even remember. I think I called it My Commandments or Thy Commandments, something like that, if you want to check it out. Anyway, religion also has action, okay? No matter what religion you go in, they also share this. Action. A perfect example of that is the prayer, is the going to the mosque or the church or wherever, doing their holidays without fail. Some religions fast, so they take action, they take physical means of doing. Some people spread the word, Some people, they do whatever, they read their Bibles, their books, their holy books, their scriptures, they write. Whatever it may be, they take action for the religion. Some people meditate. Buddhists will be perfect examples of this. So as you can see, all of the religions, of course, not just these four. Remember, we're talking about all of them for real. These are just the examples for this video. All of the religions, good or bad, have action. Okay? So even the spiritual. Many spiritual people also meditate and they do things that they do. Okay? Spread the word. Try to open people's minds to a higher consciousness. Whatever. Action is all in religion. Okay? So religion is all. Now when I say it is all, I mean it is the foundation in which these people live. Okay? All. Okay? It is their everything. You know, if there was no pretty much, it's a hierarchy. Okay? It really is. Religion comes over everything for these people, without a doubt. If you see a competition, you know, just a little abstract thing, if their God was put up against something else, maybe a certain rule or regulation being passed into law by the government, they wouldn't do it because, why? Their religion comes over that. It is all. It is their whole life, and it is their whole movement. And when you get into a religion, it becomes incorporated into everything you do, everything you see. Now this can also be a downfall for certain religions that are told that, you know, the other religions are their enemies. So it becomes all reality for them and they end up fighting each other, etc., etc. Let's move on to the next thing right here. And right here is who has more miracles, faithful people, and happiness in their religion. Now this, I made a random chart right here, completely arbitrary, and I literally just made it up on the fly, just to show you a perfect example. And I purposely didn't name any of the religions because I want you to just understand how a certain religion could have more or less of something than another religion. Okay? Now what I mean by that is, as you can see right here from this chart, okay, right here, this religion in the back, religion C, has more love. So the people in their religion love others more than these religions. They don't love others as much as they love themselves, being in this particular religion, religion B or religion A, okay, to a lesser extent religion A. Now, okay, this religion right here comprehends less than the other religions. So we're just giving an example how different religions can have different strong points. Some may have more serenity, more peacefulness because of their religion, okay? Some may comprehend their own religion, what they're teaching, what they're reading, and what they're even doing more than others, less than others. Some may love others, you know, more or less, depending on their religion. And some may have more faith in their religion because they feel that it's just that true, that real, that holy, okay? But here's where it gets really important. None of the religions really have a complete one-up on the other, because everyone in that religion, let's just say the Buddhists, certain Buddhists feel certain ways about their own religion. Not all of them are going to perceive their religion the same way. Same thing can be said for Christians, etc., etc. Okay, so another example right here to prove that none of them one-up each other. Miracles, alright? Some people seen miracles when they were Buddhists. Some people seen miracles when they were Christians. Some people seen miracles when they were Jews. Alright, so it doesn't, as you see right there, your religion has nothing to do with the outcome of miracles. All religions have their little 2 cents about the miracles they seen. You know, it's just, you know, extraordinary things that they can't explain, and now the religion gets the credit for it. A lot of them have faithful people. There's some faithful Christians more faithful than certain Jews. there's certain Jews that are more faithful than certain Christians. And you can apply that type of wordplay to any religion. Okay? Now, there's certain Buddhists who are happier than certain Christians. Even though Christians have more faith, or that particular Christian may have more faith on their religion, guess what? The Buddhist may be happier. He's more serene. So as you can see right there, it does not matter which religion is. They have the same outcomes depending on their religion. It's a philosophy, and depending on how they apply to their life, the philosophy can interact and boost their whole well-being of life. Now, another example that I cannot overlook is the fact that prayer is answered from any religion. It does not matter what religion you talk about, because I hear sometimes religion A will say, well, only my religion has their prayers answered. No, every religion has stories and have people who can testify to the whole situation of their prayers being answered and responded to. So as you can see right there, is no certain religion who has their prayers answered while everyone else is left in the dark. Okay? Very important to understand. Now, what do you reflect? Okay? This is the whole essence of this video right here. If you live for God, if you act for God, if you acknowledge God, then somewhere down the line, you will reflect God. It's as simple as could be. Okay? So pretty much, let me give you a more basic example if that doesn't make sense. If you are, if you live for, let's just say, evil, if you act evil, if you acknowledge evil, and I don't mean in the sense of, ignoring evil or not ignoring evil, but in the sense that you acknowledge the goodness in evil, which, isn't really good, but you acknowledge the evil is something that you need, which it isn't, then you will start to reflect an evil person. Okay, so you can say the same thing for the God example. Okay, so pretty much all religions have this saying. Okay, they say it in one way or another. You are made in God's image. Okay, or you are to be as God. Live as a God would try to live. Peaceful, whatever the examples may be, it all comes down to you either are to reflect God or you are already made to reflect God. So pretty much your words, how you feel, and what you think and your actions are what reflect you. So if you speak words of whatever, if you feel however, if you think whatever, and you act however, that's going to make your reflection. But if your reflection is based on a God and you try to not influence, but pretty much copy, mimic how a God or your God in your religion would want you to act, or how it would act, you will reflect God, more clearer, if you will, according to your religion. Alright, I hope I'm not confusing any of y'all with this, but it's very important to understand that all religions always say that you are made in God's image. So why should you not reflect that God? Okay? Why would you just limit yourself to just being a human being? Now, I'm not saying that you should be God. What I'm saying here is that if you are made in the image of God, then certainly you are to reflect the goodness and the greatness of God. Okay? So you should speak great words, you should feel great, you should think great thoughts and great things, and you should act with greatness, do greatness, and you will reflect greatness, hence you will reflect God. Okay? Hopefully that clarified it a little bit more. Now, we were made to reflect God, which I kind of just went over, but I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. If you were made in God's image, then you reflect God and are God-like. Once again, you are not to be God. You are to act as God. Okay? Very different. Because some people hear God like and they think you're trying to become God. You're trying to, put yourself over God. That isn't what this is at all. God, the creator, the maker, is always the number one. And then you are trying to be your best God creation. You're the creation of God. You're trying to be the best of it. You always want the best. There's no evil in trying to be the best of something positive. Okay. So pretty much God's create, and for their creations get accolade. Now this is true even about the original God. If a God did create us, then already he is a creator. Gods are creators. That's all a God really is. Something that creates, and then they're usually given accolade. The Most High God, as many call it, or the maker, the creator. I prefer the word the maker. Okay, they get accolade via prayer. People pray to the God, give thanks, and just let out their prayers, and that's the accolade given to that God. Well, we reflect God, so we are God-like, and we as humans create. We create all types of art, all types of things, and this is how we get our accolade. So as you can see, we are God-like, not God. Okay, I really want to emphasize that, because we get accolade when you create good music, or you sing well, because that's creating as well, singing. If you make beautiful sculptures, if you make dolls, whatever, if you motivate people, you're given thanks, you're given accolade, you're given praise, and that is essentially the same thing that gods are given, since we are made in the image of God. And everyone is an artist, and I mean everyone. No matter what you think, you are an artist. When I'm creating this video right now, I am an artist. I am creating as I speak. Not only am I creating this video, but I am creating words, and I'm creating broader understandings, everything. Okay, everyone has talents. No matter who you are, you have talents. Okay, and I'll say that one more time. No matter who you are, you have talents and are an artist. Even if you haven't created anything that you think is worthy of being called artistic, you've created something, and you have talents. You just don't know what it is yet, if you really believe you don't have any artistic talents. Okay, so just look and try to expand and try to find what your artistic talent is, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anything could be art for real, as long as you create it. Now, what we do with our creations is very outstanding. While many animals create as well, they create their own homes. Bees, they create beehives. That's pretty amazing. They create honey. You have a lot of animals that create a lot of things. Plants, they create oxygen. There's a lot of things they create, but we are the only beings that create from darkness. Now, darkness is a word that if you don't think too critically and in a wide point of view, you're going to think of evil. No. When I say darkness, I mean from nothingness. Okay? Many people don't understand that in the beginning, darkness was the first of anything. All the ancient, the real ancient mythologies and stories about creation always starts off with darkness. Even the Bible, if you think about it, at first there was nothing, then God created light, all that stuff. Before light, there was darkness. Now, when I say we create from darkness, we create from our mind, from our thoughts. Animals can't do that. They have to get, sculptures, if you will, stuff that is already, and then they create from it, from a physical point of view. Now, we use sculptures and physical things to mold our creations into being, yes, but from our mind, we can imagine it, and then we can bring it forth into the physical. Okay? When you have a song in your head, that song is in your mind. No one else can hear that song. Maybe you had a good idea, That idea is in your head. You can go your whole life having that idea, and if you don't speak it, if you don't share it, you don't create it. And if you don't create art, it is because you don't share it, like I just said. That's one of the biggest problems why people don't realize their artistic talents. Now, I created this picture, and I do graphic design, I make poetry, I do a little video editing, I do a lot of artistic stuff. I even got a couple of songs, and I made a couple of music. Not really good at creating music, but I have a couple of songs and stuff like that. Point being is that sometimes I go 6 months without creating any type of graphic design. And that's the thing I create the most. And then I'll just get back on it, and then I create. Okay? You know, just because you have the ability to create don't mean you're going to be able to just create things left and right and left, like it's just snapping your fingers going on with the movement, and it's going to be that easy. It's just going to flow out. Some people can, but then again, those same people who can always find those hard times when they can. And that goes for anybody. So you have to pull from, you know, influences, from inspiration from the outside, you know, creativity and ideas, so that you can then extract it from the inside and then bring it back out in your own form of creation. Okay? So remember that about being creators, because if you don't create, you are no longer reflecting God, because God is the ultimate creator. We're made in God's image, so we naturally create. One of the potentials in life: use it or lose it, as they say. So I am a God in my own eyes. Okay? That's something I believe literally and personally. Now, many people hear that and they don't have the understanding because they aren't great people. And they'll never be great because they always limit how much they can potentially do, and they don't ever consider that they are naturally created a reflection of God, literally. From their own religions, it says you were made in God's image, and they never consider that. So they hear something like that, and they look at it single-mindedly, and they close them off from ever having any type of potential. Okay? So, I'm a God, quote-unquote, because God is nothing but a word used to explain greater beings. If we ask the real God, the real creator, the real maker, what their title or what they were called was, they would not say God. That is something that we created to explain what we believe a higher being to be. Okay? So I am a God, not the God, or my/your God. Okay? Because once again, I am nothing but a reflection of God. I do not see myself over God, or stronger than God, more powerful than God, or one day even become the greatest God ever. What I'm saying here is that I'm going to be as God, and create as God, and do greatness as God. Okay? Don't limit yourself to the potential of others, because others have little potential. Okay, listen to that one more time. Don't limit yourself to the potential of others, because others have little potential. Okay, you can quote me on that, because I made that up, and it's true as day. It's true as day and night. Others have little potential. Why would I try to be as great as a human being who can't even see the greatness in themselves? I think I'm going to try to be as great as a God can be. If you can see where we're going with this even more. Okay? All religions speak of men turning into God or higher beings for their skills and greatness, so why can't you? Now, the same people who will ridicule you for even speaking such things like you are God-like will then turn to their Bibles and read of how Enoch turned into Metatron, or how St. Peter is now, he was so great that he is the gatekeeper of heaven, etc., etc. I mean, every religion has their human beings who turn into higher beings, and then they will, ask you, how do you think you're so great? It's not how I'm so great, it's how I'm trying to become great. Okay? So there we go right there. I always can shut down arguments with the person's own material that they're looking from trying to defend the argument. That's the thing. I usually never argue with anybody. I let them prove their own ignorance by using their own, justifications of why they're even debating in the first place. Okay? This is confidence, not egoist. Okay? This is not being a show off. This is not being, conceited. This isn't that. One of the deadly metaphysical sins is vanity. This isn't that. This is confidence so that you can understand how truly great your potential is and how great it can become. Remember that, and whenever someone tells you you can't